my lovelies. Welcome to the first episode of Her History podcast, where we remember the influential women left behind in history. My name is Amal, and today we are going to be talking about Alice Augusta Ball, a chemist who created a cure for leprosy. Before we get into it, I want to take a moment and introduce myself and the inspiration behind this podcast. I'm a student with a passion for history, but there was this one moment that stuck with me and sort of got the ball rolling for this podcast. I was at the Miami Book Fair, and I saw on their calendar of events that Patti Smith would be speaking. If you don't know her, Patti Smith is an influential woman herself. She's a singer, songwriter, poet, painter, and author. I had just finished reading her book, Just Kids, so naturally I had to go hear her speak. I purchased a ticket and took a seat, and there she was up on the stage. She was there that night to talk about her new book, Book of Days, which has 365 pages, each with a picture and a short caption. She shared stories behind each photograph, but the moment that stuck out to me was the page with a photo of today's topic, Alice Ball. Patti discussed how too often women are forgotten in history, and she had read about this woman who had made life-saving discoveries, yet no one knew her name. She had hoped that if she put Alice's portrait in her book, more people would learn about her and her memory would live on. So Her History podcast is essentially a way of remembering these women and remembering their names. And today we are going to remember Alice Ball. But before we get into the story, we're going to get into this first segment, which we'll just call Today in Women's History. So the day I'm recording this, it is March 27th. It's actually Women's History Month, which is fitting for starting this podcast. I didn't even plan that, but happy Women's History Month, everyone. So anyway, today is March 27th, and let's talk about what happened today. By the way, I'm going to read all this information from todayinwomenshistory.org. It's a really cool website, and they'll even provide you with further reading on each little topic. Ooh, we kind of got a lot today. March 27th is a popular date. Alright, so let's start. We've got Effa Manley. Effa Manley, co-owner and manager with husband Abe of the Negro League baseball team, the Brooklyn Eagles, 1935 to 46, was born today in 1897. She supported integration with the NAACP, worked hard to get Negro League players included in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Next, we've got Julia Alvarez. Julia Alvarez, a Dominican-American poet, novelist, and essayist, was born today in 1950. Her first novel, How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents, was highly acclaimed for its portrayal of the integration of Latina immigrants into the U.S. mainstream. Pamela Gordon. Pamela Gordon became Bermuda's first woman prime minister today in 1997. I'm sure you all know her. Mariah Carey, winner of multiple Grammy Awards, was born today in 1970. And lastly, we've got Sarah Vaughan, world-renowned jazz singer and pianist known as the Divine One, was born today in 1924. So yeah, if you want to know any more about these ladies, make sure to go to todayinwomenshistory.org, and they have additional reading if you want to get deeper into those stories. All right, that's it for Today in Women's History. Now to the story. Let's get into it. Her story is set between the years of 1866 and 1969, when the state of Hawaii was taken over by leprosy. Leprosy is an infectious chronic disease that affects the nerves and skin, and it can lead to disabilities. Because of its ability to pass through the air, leprosy patients were exiled to a remote peninsula called Kalaupapa. This is where the racism reveals itself, as almost all of those exiled patients were Native Hawaiians, left in that colony with no treatment to quarantine for the rest of their lives, where conditions were hardly livable. Guys, they were even instructing bounty hunters to track down these patients to bring them to Kalaupapa. Of course, the white people of Hawaii were allowed to come and go as they pleased, allowed to seek treatment on the mainland. So, Alice Augusta Ball, born in 1892, moved to Honolulu when she was 10 years old. As a young girl, she already excelled in school. She had lots of school spirit and participated in drama clubs. I found her graduation quote from the class of 1910 yearbook, and I think it'll summarize her personality pretty well. It goes, "I work, and still it seems I have nothing done." She continued on this way, earning a bachelor's in pharmaceutical chemistry and a bachelor's in science of pharmacy from the University of Washington. But Alice, this was not enough for her. She went back home and attended the University of Hawaii to get a master's degree in chemistry. This is when she began making history, becoming the first Black and first female master's degree holder and chemistry instructor. So back to the leprosy pandemic, the native Hawaiian population was being devastated at this time. In the Hawaiian culture, extended family is highly, highly valued. So when family members, even children, were being sent away, it was highly traumatic. Children born in Kalaupapa were whisked away and put up for adoption, and people would hide where they came from to avoid the stigma of leprosy that was big at the time. So this is the point where the two stories cross. While at the Hawaiian University, Alice began researching the chemical makeup of kava, a Hawaiian awa root. It was used for various treatments, but it still had a few issues with it, and she found a way to make it easily injectable, which was huge. This is when Harry T. Holman recruited her to help make a leprosy treatment. He had discovered that the oil from the chalmukra tree could be a cure, but he needed a way to make it injectable. And who do we know who can make things injectable? Of course, Alice achieved this in less than a year. While she was researching this, she was working off-duty with no pay. She had an aide named Arthur L. Dean, another professor who would later become the president of the university. Remember his name, or don't, he's trash, but he will come up later. We're gonna take a short break for today's sponsor. Want new things to read but aren't sure what? If you want to read Patti Smith's books I mentioned earlier in the podcast and more, download Audibly. I listen to Audibly's audiobooks every day while I'm brushing my teeth, eating, going on a walk, and to fall asleep. When you sign up, Audibly has you take a 10-minute quiz to learn all about your reading style, so you can get a personalized playlist of audiobooks that you are 100% guaranteed to enjoy every single month. If for some reason you don't love a book, Audibly will let you swap it out to anything you want. For over 10 years, Audibly has been the #1 audiobook provider globally. Go download Audibly right now. Trust me, you won't regret it. At sign up, use our code HERHISTORY30 to get 3 months free. That is HERHISTORY30 for 3 months on us. At the age of 24, Alice suffered an unfortunate tragedy. It's not clear what happened exactly to cause her death, but there is a story that while demonstrating how to use a gas mask, she inhaled chlorine gas, causing her to fall ill and eventually pass away. Others say she had tuberculosis. No matter what happened, a second tragedy occurred afterwards. Remember Arthur Dean from earlier, her assistant? Well, he published Alice's discovery, but claimed it as his own. Told you he was trash. The treatment was named the Dean Method and was met with massive success. It rapidly cured several cases of leprosy, even in severe cases, and became the primary treatment for a good while. Fewer and fewer patients were sent to Kalaupapa. Instead, they were able to be treated at the hospital. It wasn't until decades later that Alice Ball was recognized for her research. Thanks to fellow researcher Stan Ali, who spread word about Alice's achievements, and her erasure due to history sexism and racism, the Dean method now rightfully goes by the Ball method. At the University of Hawaii, a bronze plaque with her name was placed in front of the campus's Chalmuga tree in her honor. They've also given her many awards and now offer the Alice Augusta Ball Endowed Scholarship for science students from marginalized groups. So, at the end of each episode, I'd like to highlight a woman-owned business so that we can support not just women of history, but women of today. Today's business is Bringus Art and Design, owned by Alexis Bringus. She is a watercolor and acrylic artist, mom, and teacher who sells her art on www.bringusartdesign.com. Head on over there to have a browse. I know she sells these beautiful hand-painted cards that make great gifts. She also posts updates on her creative process to Instagram at bringus.creates if you want to check her out. I actually have one of her stickers on my laptop. It's really cute. So, my lovelies, that is it for today's episode. If you enjoyed today's story, please subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can catch future episodes. All existing episodes will be on our website and on this YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, just at Her History Podcast. Over there, it's really interesting. You could see some images from today's story, like the Chalmuga tree, and what Kalaupapa looked like, and just stay updated on all things women history. As always, you can find all the links in the description. I'm going to leave you all with a quote from the influential Michelle Obama. There's power in allowing yourself to be known and heard, in owning your unique story, and using your authentic voice.